Some politicians whisper behind closed doors. Jasmine Crockett? She lights up the whole room, with facts, fire, and a face that doesn't flinch. In a political world stuffed with half-truths and loud egos, Crockett has become the sharp-tongued truth-teller nobody saw coming. In this countdown, we reveal the 15 most unforgettable people Jasmine Crockett has roasted, and trust us, you won't believe who tops the list. Let's start with this moment. Number 1. The entire GOP Judiciary Committee. They thought it was just another day on Capitol Hill. But when Representative Jasmine Crockett took the mic during a heated House Judiciary Committee hearing in May 2024, the air shifted, like someone had cracked open a can of truth with the fizz turned all the way up. She wasn't aiming at one name. She aimed at all of them, a full-room roast that left no Republican untouched. The trigger? A string of baseless accusations from GOP members targeting President Biden's family. The attacks were loud, messy, and oddly familiar. Crockett, clearly fed up, waited for her turn like a boxer in the corner, and when she spoke, she didn't just throw jabs, she unleashed a precision-guided rhetorical uppercut. "If my colleague wants to talk about someone who doesn't know where the line is," she said, eyes locked and voice like fire wrapped in silk, "then maybe they should look in the mirror before coming for someone's family." Her tone was sharp but cold, like a slap with a velvet glove. The room went silent. Twitter, X, exploded. Clips of her clapback shot past 5 million views in under 48 hours. Memes crowned her the congressional clapback queen. And what happened to the committee? Nothing changed, except now, every time she speaks, they listen. Because when Jasmine Crockett reads the room, she doesn't whisper, she scorches. And next? She had a name with blonde roots and brittle comebacks locked in her sights. Number 2. Donald Trump. Donald Trump thought he had seen it all, until Jasmine Crockett dropped one of the slickest burns Congress has ever heard without raising her voice. The year was 2023, the setting, a post-indictment press blitz where Trump's legal woes and wild statements had dominated headlines. As GOP reps rushed to his defense like stagehands cleaning up after a carnival, Crockett didn't bother with long speeches, she hit straight from the gut with a line that snapped heads. They asked her on MSNBC about Trump's endless accusations and victimhood complex. Calm as ever, she responded. At this point, he's just a walking lawsuit in an overpriced suit. He's not above the law, he's under investigation. That was it. Boom. Twitter/X lit up like New Year's in Times Square. Memes called her the Trump tamer. Even neutral pundits called it the coolest mic drop of the week. The roast was dismissive, savvy, and surgical. She didn't shout. She didn't fume. She hit like a perfectly timed punchline in a room full of clowns. This roast made the list because it wasn't just a burn, it was a reminder. When Crockett speaks, she doesn't beg for attention. She commands it. Trump didn't respond directly, but his supporters scrambled to defend him, only making it worse. And while Trump moved on to his next rally rant, Crockett was already lining up her next target, one who believed loud meant smart, and blonde meant bold. Let's just say, she didn't hold back. Number 3. Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott had barely finished tweeting before Jasmine Crockett fired back, and this one didn't just sting, it branded. It happened during the Texas power grid mess in 2023, when families were freezing in the dark and the governor posted a tone-deaf photo with a warm smile and a vague promise to look into it. Texans were tired. Crockett? She was done. She took to X, Twitter, like a storm in heels, quoting his post with a clapback that sizzled. Greg Abbott runs Texas like a bad substitute teacher, confused, unprepared, and blaming the students for everything. That roast didn't just go viral, it got 7.2 million views in 24 hours and landed her on 3 major news panels that week. The tone? Savage but smart. She wasn't yelling. She wasn't whining. She just told the truth, with seasoning. The theme? Leadership failure, plain and clear. Abbott had brushed off blackouts, book bans, and border chaos like spilled coffee. But Crockett handed him a clean mirror, and the internet loved it. The memes came fast. Abbott photoshopped into a classroom, holding a clipboard titled, "Blame List." What changed? Not him. But Crockett's post brought eyes back to policies folks were starting to ignore. And just when Texas thought that roast was the main course, her next target was warming up the mic, with a history lesson no one asked for and definitely wasn't ready to hear. Number 4. Byron Donalds. Byron Donalds walked into political fire wearing flip-flops. It was June 2024, and during a speech meant to honor Black history, he praised the Jim Crow era for strong Black families, a line so off-key, even his mic seemed to pause. That soundbite went viral for all the wrong reasons. Enter Jasmine Crockett. And she didn't come to play teacher, she came with receipts, rage, and rhythm. From the House floor, she lit him up like a street lamp in a blackout. "You don't get to sugarcoat segregation. You don't get to remix oppression and call it structure," she said, eyes locked in disbelief. "We survived because we had to, not because the system was kind." Her tone was a tightrope, equal parts historic pain, present fury, and no-nonsense clarity. It hit like a thunderclap. Thousands shared the clip, racking up 6.9 million views in 48 hours. Black Twitter roasted Donald's mercilessly. One meme showed him next to a "for-colored only" sign, holding a "strong family values" banner. The impact? Donald's backtracked, fast. But the sting stayed. Crockett's correction wasn't just about him, it was about the danger of romanticizing pain. And for every teen watching who didn't know what Jim Crow meant, now they do, with Jasmine Crockett as the unexpected history teacher. And just as the smoke cleared, she turned toward her next target, an old name in a high seat with a quiet record and loud luxury flights. Number 5. Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas might wear the robe, but Jasmine Crockett made it clear, no one is too high to get checked. It was August 2023 when the Supreme Court Justice's name flooded headlines again, this time for luxury vacations funded by billionaire friends, private jets, yacht trips, and secret gifts that never made it onto official disclosures. The public was shocked. Crockett? She came loaded. During a live CNN panel, when asked whether ethics rules should apply to the Supreme Court, she didn't flinch. If Clarence Thomas wanted to live like a king, he shouldn't have signed up to judge the people, she said. This isn't a black robe, it's starting to look like a black credit card. Her tone was dry but scorching, like sun-baked pavement after rain. Social media erupted. The clip topped 4.8 million views by nightfall. One viral meme showed Thomas on a jet with the caption, "Air Justice 1, no disclosure required." People praised Crockett for saying what others whispered. The theme was clear, hypocrisy in high places. Judges aren't supposed to be guests at billionaire barbecues, especially when their decisions shape lives. And though Thomas never answered her directly, Crockett's words still echoed, because the robe may hide a lot, but not everything. Next up, she aimed her fire at a man who once held the gavel but couldn't hold a consistent opinion, especially when power was on the table. Number 6. Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy might have held the speaker's gavel, but Jasmine Crockett made it clear, he couldn't hold a spine. It was September 2023, just after McCarthy had flip-flopped, again, on supporting an impeachment inquiry into President Biden. One minute he was dodging, the next he was all in. Reporters called it strategy. Crockett called it what it was. During a Capitol press huddle, when asked what she thought of McCarthy's ever-changing stance, Crockett delivered a knockout in one clean swing. He's not a speaker. He's a seesaw. One day it's, "I stand with the facts," the next it's, "I fold to the loudest crybaby in the room." The tone? Blunt, dismissive, and stinging like a paper cut soaked in lemon juice. Twitter/X blew up. The clip drew 4.3 million views by sundown. McCarthy's name started trending, right alongside Crockett's. Memes dropped instantly, McCarthy as a weather vane spinning in chaos, captioned, "Today's forecast, whatever they tell me." The theme she exposed? Political cowardice. McCarthy wasn't just changing positions, he was erasing them. No line, no logic, just survival. What happened after? His credibility sank even lower, if that was still possible. Crockett's jab didn't just sting, it stuck. And just when you thought that roast would be hard to top, she locked eyes with a man who never stopped yelling, but never said much at all. Number 7. Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan walked into that House Oversight hearing like a bull with a microphone, loud, restless, charging at everything but the truth. He kept interrupting, raising his voice, and throwing wild claims like he was auditioning for a courtroom drama. That's when Jasmine Crockett leaned back in her chair, waited for his tantrum to peak, and then dropped the line that stopped him and the room cold. "You love to yell, Mr. Jordan," she said with a raised brow, calm as a Sunday breeze. "But every time facts walk in, your voice runs out of things to say." The tone? Deadpan. So deadpan it hit harder than shouting ever could. It was a slow burn with a sharp edge, like handing someone a mirror instead of a fist. And the public ate it up. The clip snagged over 5.1 million views in just 36 hours, with one meme showing Jordan shouting into a megaphone that said nothing. The theme behind it? Hypocrisy and deflection. While Jordan barked about accountability, he dodged every question tied to his own record. Crockett's roast didn't just call out the noise, it exposed the silence behind it. Jordan didn't clap back. He tried to pivot. But the moment stuck like gum under a desk. And as the hearing pressed on, Crockett's gaze landed next on a polished figure with a record dressed in lipstick, but facts that refused to stay pretty. Number 8. Elise Stefanik. Elise Stefanik strutted into the hearing like she was hosting her own campaign ad. Polished hair, printed notes, and a voice coded in rehearsed confidence. She spoke fast, tossed out cherry-picked stats, and accused Democrats of destroying trust in American institutions. Then she flashed a smug smile, as if facts had left the room and spin had taken over. Big mistake. Jasmine Crockett sat still, flipping through her binder like she was double-checking whether Stefanik's words qualified as fiction or just really bad comedy. Then, with a voice smooth as cut glass, she hit, "Ma'am, if you're gonna quote data, you should at least read the footnotes. Misinformation with lip gloss is still misinformation." Ouch. The tone was classy sarcastic, a roast dressed in pearls. The room got quiet, and the internet blew up. Over 3.9 million views in 24 hours. Hashtags like #Crockett vs. Spin trended across political feeds. One meme showed Stefanik holding flashcards labeled Mislead 101. The trigger? Stefanik had tried to use skewed polling to justify false claims about voter fraud and woke indoctrination. Crockett called it what it was, political theater with a script full of holes. There was no comeback. Stefanik stayed quiet. Crockett had shut it down without raising her voice, proof that fire doesn't always have to shout. And the moment she closed that binder, she turned toward someone who wore suits like armor, but couldn't armor himself from the truth she was about to bring. Number 9. Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz was back on the air again, this time throwing shade at immigration policies while ignoring his own backyard mess. It was March 2024, and during a Fox News spot, Cruz blamed Democrats for border chaos while claiming Texas was under siege. That might have passed as usual spin, until Representative Jasmine Crockett stepped into the conversation with her signature calm thunder. Later that evening, she posted a now legendary quote to X, formerly Twitter, aimed squarely at Cruz. "You fled to Cancun during a blackout, but now you're trying to lead border talks? That's like hiding from a house fire, then auditioning to be the fire chief." The tone? Humorous, yes, but blistering. It didn't just call out his hypocrisy, it painted it like a mural, bright and loud. The tweet went viral with over 6.2 million views and sparked trending hashtags like #Cancun Cruz returns and #Crockett claps back. The theme? Leadership hypocrisy. Cruz had skipped Texas when the power grid failed in 2021. Now, when the border topic came up, he positioned himself as the state's savior. Crockett wasn't buying it, and neither was the public. Impact? Cruz ignored her, publicly. But you could tell the sting landed by how fast right-wing blogs rushed to deflect. As her roast circled the net like wildfire, Crockett had already locked eyes on another Twitter titan, less relevant, more obnoxious. The air of chaos was about to get checked. Number 10. Donald Trump Jr. Donald Trump Jr. had one job, stay off the internet. But once again, he logged on and said too much with too little sense. It was May 2023, and he fired off a long-winded rant on X, Twitter, accusing Representative Jasmine Crockett of hating success and calling her a radical puppet. That's all it took. Crockett didn't shout. She didn't argue. She scalpel sliced. She clapped back on live radio later that day, cool as ice. Coming from the guy whose biggest achievement is being loud on Wi-Fi, I'm flattered. His resume is a last name and a Wi-Fi password. The tone? Sarcastic with a twist of savory shade. She didn't waste time trading insults, she turned the lights on and let his emptiness show. The trigger? Yet another unprovoked online jab from a man famous for riding his father's name like a skateboard through the headlines. The post went viral in under 10 hours, 3.7 million views, and one meme showed Trump Jr. holding a phone with the caption, "Still typing, still irrelevant." The theme? Nepotism dressed as influence. Crockett made it clear, noise isn't legacy. Trump Jr. went silent after that. No follow-up. No rebound. The burn was clean, and the silence louder than any reply. And just when people thought Crockett was done with the Twitter kids, her sights shifted to a man pushing policies that rewrote pain, and called it pride. Number 11. Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis tried to polish pain into patriotism, and Jasmine Crockett wasn't having it. It was July 2023 when Florida's Department of Education rolled out new guidelines suggesting that enslaved people benefited by learning skills. DeSantis doubled down on national TV, calling it accurate history. But Crockett? She dropped a truth bomb that turned his press tour into a mess. During a live-stream Q&A with MSNBC, Crockett leaned in with surgical precision. If Ron thinks slavery was a workshop, then maybe he should be the first one to sign up. Let's see what he learns, with no freedom and no pay. Boom. The tone was cutting, savage but deeply rooted in ancestral grief. She didn't just come with facts. She brought the weight of generations and laid it down like a thunderclap. The video racked up 5.8 million views in under 2 days. One viral meme showed DeSantis holding a chalkboard with the words, "How to Misteach History 101." The theme? Whitewashing racial trauma. And Crockett, standing tall as a descendant of survivors, reminded everyone, you can't water down chains and call it education. DeSantis never responded directly. But the damage was done. Crockett's roast echoed louder than any press release. And right after silencing that classroom fantasy, she turned toward the grandstander in the corner, Mr. TikTok Tantrum himself, ready to get roasted like it was open mic night on the House floor. Number 12. Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz stepped into the House Oversight hearing acting more influencer than lawmaker, grinning wide, waving papers, and dropping half-truths like he was chasing likes instead of legislation. He interrupted, grandstand, and tried turning a serious discussion into a personal spotlight. And Jasmine Crockett? She let him play the fool until it was time to speak. After he smugly questioned her knowledge of the Constitution, she didn't blink. She leaned in with a line that turned the entire room. If clout chasing was a constitutional right, you'd finally be qualified to speak. Ouch. Her tone was dismissive with a grin, like handing someone a mirror wrapped in gift paper. The trigger? Gaetz had mocked Crockett's law background, ignoring the fact that she's a seasoned criminal defense attorney. The moment he tried to flex, she flattened him. The clip racked up 4.5 million views in 24 hours. One meme showed Gaetz with a ring light in Congress, captioned, "Live, Laugh, Grandstand." The theme was performative politics. Crockett's roast cut through the circus, reminding everyone that volume doesn't equal value. Did Gaetz fire back? Not really. He smiled, shuffled papers, and faded back into the background. And just as the noise died down, Crockett turned toward a man obsessed with conspiracy and absolutely allergic to facts. His name? James Comer. And his receipt was coming. Number 13. James Comer. James Comer walked into the hearing with stacks of paper and no real proof, again. The House Oversight Chair had been beating the same tired drum for months, claiming to have evidence of corruption in the Biden family. But every document he waved was either redacted, recycled, or riddled with gaps. He puffed up, pointing fingers. That's when Jasmine Crockett put him in his place like a librarian checking a loud kid. She leaned into the mic and said, calm, clear, and devastating. You've spent more time investigating the president's son than you have investigating the truth. The tone was direct and razor-clean, intellectual and dismissive at the same time. The roast didn't rely on yelling. It relied on facts, and the mountain Comer kept ignoring. What triggered it? Comer had once again accused Biden of bribery with no confirmed source, no clear link, and absolutely no receipts. Social media lit up like Christmas. The clip hit 4.9 million views in a single day. Memes showed Comer sitting in a filing room labeled, "Things That Don't Exist." The theme? Political hypocrisy and manufactured outrage. Comer claimed to care about ethics, but his own campaign had quietly accepted money from firms tied to real scandals. And as Comer fumbled with his folder of maybes, Crockett's gaze shifted, because next up was someone who traded policy for volume and sense for spectacle. Her next roast was locked on Lauren Boebert. And it was going to sting. Number 14. Lauren Boebert. Lauren Boebert stormed into the hearing like a sparkler trying to be a spotlight, loud, flashy, and not quite lighting up the facts. It was April 2023, and Boebert launched into a rant blaming Democrats for crime, gas prices, and everything in between. She threw around phrases like woke poison and Democrat destruction, but forgot one important thing, the facts. Jasmine Crockett sat quietly at first, flipping pages. Then she struck, clean, swift, and sharp. Ms. Boebert, Crockett said, cool and steady, I know you're allergic to research, but facts aren't optional just because your Wi-Fi works. Bang. The tone was playful, but piercing. Like a chalkboard crack that quiets the whole classroom. Crockett didn't need volume, she used precision. Boebert had triggered the moment by spouting false crime stats and misrepresenting Crockett's home district. Social media exploded. The clip racked up 5.2 million views in under 24 hours. One meme showed Boebert Googling how to fact-check during a meltdown. Another? A picture of Crockett handing her a dictionary. The theme? Performative politics versus real public service. Boebert played for headlines. Crockett delivered truth with teeth. Boebert offered no comeback, just silence and shuffling paper. And the internet crowned Crockett queen of receipts. Only one name was left now, the one who came for her hair, her looks, and her body. But Jasmine Crockett wasn't done. She was just warming up. Number 15. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene walked into the May 2024 oversight hearing like it was reality TV, loud, petty, and cameras rolling. But then she crossed the line. With a mic in front of her and no filter in sight, Green mocked Representative Jasmine Crockett's eyelashes, yes, her eyelashes, during a heated exchange. It was catty, shallow, and reckless. But Crockett? She didn't just clap back, she went viral in under 10 seconds. Without even blinking, she fired. I'm not surprised. It's always the ones with the bleach blonde, bad-built, butch body trying to talk about somebody's looks. Boom. Crockett's tone was savage, surgical, and unbothered. She didn't raise her voice. She raised the stakes. The moment exploded, 8.5 million views in just 24 hours. Hashtags like #ButchBody and #Crockett vs MTG trended across X. One meme showed Green next to a crash dummy with fake lashes glued on, captioned, "Try again." The trigger wasn't just the insult, it was the pattern. Green had taken jabs at people of color before, often ignoring policy to focus on personal digs. This time, she picked the wrong target. The theme? Misplaced aggression and racism wrapped in playground politics. Fallout? Green got roasted online for days. Crockett? She walked out a hero, cool, sharp, and undefeated. And just like that, the queen of clapbacks closed the circle. But the legend? Oh, it's still growing. In a political arena flooded with noise, deflection, and performative outrage, Jasmine Crockett stands out as a voice that slices through the nonsense with sharp precision. The theme is clear: when power gets reckless, truth needs volume, and she delivers it, mic in hand and facts in pocket. As the theatrics evolve, so does the spotlight, but one thing remains: Crockett isn't afraid to call out hypocrisy, no matter how loud, rich, or well-connected the target is. Who do you think deserved that roast the most? Drop your pick in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more bold breakdowns and fearless clapbacks.